Hey, I'm James. I'm an engineer and financial analyst. I graduated from Imperial College London. There's two themes I want to cover in today's video. So, the first is AI, and the second is entrepreneurship and how they both relate to the education sector. So, we'll start with AI first. AI is like when cavemen were gifted fire from God. It fundamentally changes every aspect of human life. And what I've noticed within that is there's two subtrends. One is that the educators, the professors, the teachers are salty, they're resentful of AI, and I'll explain why. And the second is that students are horrible at prompt engineering, and I'll explain why too and how they could fix that. So, to touch on the former, the teachers, the lecturers, the professors are salty and resentful of AI because when they came up, they probably didn't have internet. So, if they wanted a data point, they would have to read through 10 textbooks to find one data point to source or cite in their essay. And this relates to and I guess the continuation of this is sort of a pervasive mindset you see in education, corporate culture, etc., which is that I suffered, therefore you must suffer. And for some reason, I believe this is a boomer mindset, and I think it permeates a lot of industries. But just to focus on the education sector, your teachers and professors are hell bent on you having to go through the same arduous path they went through when they were doing their research and analysis for exams, reports, essays, assignments, PhDs, because they view it as a rite of passage, which is very stupid and archaic, and I'll explain why. Each generation in human civilization, in my opinion, or at least in recent memory, should aim for the next generation to do better than themselves. So for me, with my students who are younger than me, I want them to be more efficient, more productive, and to achieve more than I did. Just because true story, in my degree, I spent 3 months writing a literature review, which is basically a very long report summarizing all the developments in a specific domain or field. So mine was on high temperature, high performance materials for use within internal combustion engines in automotive vehicles. Okay, great. I spent 3 months writing that. I could write that report right now in 2 minutes with Claude AI, the free version, not even the paid version. Now, I can take two paths, or I have two options with that. I can adopt the mindset of many older boomers, not to at boomers, but most of them are academics now, and say, yeah, I went through this. It was long, it was arduous, it was 3 months, and I know it can be made redundant now with just 1 minute of Claude AI work. But I want my students to face this problem as well because it's self development. Or I can look at it as wow, in hindsight, if I had Claude or ChatGPT or something available, I wouldn't have had to waste 3 months writing a report that could have been written in 2 minutes. I could have spent those 3 months building the next SpaceX, for example. I know that's hyperbole, but you get the point. So I'd also want my students as an extension to want to be more productive. I'm not going to hold it against them that they have fire from God and we're cavemen, for lack of a better analogy, but that's what it is. I'm not going to take the fire away from them and say, yeah, you must go back to like living in darkness again. It's totally archaic and ridiculous. Okay. So I think that's sort of the first sub trend I've noticed within AI, within education. So we have education, AI, entrepreneurship. Within AI, we have the educators being salty. The second, we're going to focus on the actual students. One thing I've noticed is a lot of students come to me and they say, oh, my report, essay, assignment, etc. got clocked for AI detection. And when they show me like sort of the prompts they're giving their AI model, it's awful. They're just putting in the report or assignment and saying, fix it. So there's a few things. I'm going to do another video on this, on how to actually prompt AI effectively to get what you want. But there's two key messages I want to convey to students watching this. First of all, when you're prompting the AI, and this applies to everyone in general, not just students, but specifically you guys for this case, you need to view it as if you're a manager in a corporate setting and the AI is your junior analyst. Now, before we had AI, analysts would conduct research and analysis and present it to their manager. The manager would review this and verify or validate whether it's true or not, and then go and present it to their management or to the board, etc. But the key point was that the analyst's research and work was a reflection on the manager. So if the manager presented something that was of poor quality, or maybe the sources and data was not correct and accurate, that would look bad on him and he could be liable for certain things. That's the same mindset people need to have, students need to have when working with the AI. This is your employee, it works for you. So it's in your best interest for it to produce good work for you, because that is a reflection on you. Second thing is that when you're prompting and guiding the AI, you need to establish guardrails. One of the biggest problems is with AI right now is that it hallucinates, it contrives data points that don't exist. And especially if you're writing technical reports, literature reviews, engineering reports, etc., it's super important and critical that your data is accurate, concise, and true. And by true, I mean the AI model hasn't fabricated a paper that was never ever published. So in your prompts, you need to establish this as guardrails. And thirdly, I know I said 2 points, but another third point you need to understand is that when you're prompting your AI, if you're someone that doesn't want to get clocked for using it, you need to remove mechanical writing. You need to have a natural cadence and rhythm to your writing. It shouldn't sound choppy or detached, or use technical terminology and vocabulary relevant to your domain of study that doesn't fit a certain text or sentence structure. Students do this all the time and they wonder why they get clocked for AI. I'll give a few breakdowns of this in another video, of people using a very large or obtuse word in a sentence that doesn't need it, and then it's so painfully obvious that maybe they told the AI to do this, or sometimes AI does that on its own. Okay, so we have education, AI, entrepreneurship. Within AI, we have the educators and the students. So I touched on those two. Now to the second theme I wanted to cover, which was entrepreneurship. Now, I believe this isn't covered or pushed enough on students. And by pushed enough, by I say pushed on, I mean that in a good way, okay? I don't think you should force anyone to do anything. But as an available option, or not even an option, it's a character trait that I think everyone should have, because it's quite beneficial to society as a whole if people are more entrepreneurial and show more initiative. But one thing I noticed from doing TikTok content is that content or videos where I'm pushing entrepreneurship, being a self-starter, showing initiative, tend to perform worse than videos or content related to quick fixes, quick hacks, cramming, etc. And I think that's emblematic of a wider mindset that's quite pervasive in today's society, but is also accentuated with younger people. And that is that we have conditioned younger people through technology and AI, I agree, albeit to educators who may be salty about my previous comments, that there is a quick fix culture. And I liken this to an oven versus a microwave. An oven, you can put the food in, it will take hours to cook, but it will slow cook and maybe it will taste better. Now with a microwave, you can get the same result in a few minutes. So you can either wait a few minutes to get your result, or you can wait a few hours to get the same result. Now, which one are people more likely to choose? The microwave, because we want things now immediately. As humans, we're impatient. And I think that's why maybe the content related for students related to quick fixes, quick hacks, cramming, etc. appeals more, because it's more immediate satisfaction. There's another term for the word, but I forget it now. Now, what is the point I'm driving at here? Now, I don't believe that students are innately unambitious or innately anti-entrepreneurial. I just think that hasn't been cultivated enough within them because of the education system. You know, if we're going to 16, 17, 18-year-olds saying, hey, you should launch your own investment club. Like I did a whole video on that the other day, basically saying like, hey, you guys should especially to my business econ finance students, because these guys are always talking to me about crypto, stocks, etc. I'm like, listen, you and your friends get together, you guys can all code, you're all good at math, you're interested in finance econ, just make an investment club, okay? This isn't financial advice, by the way, but this is an entrepreneurial thing they can do where they don't need to rely on their school or universities like finance society to greenlight what they're doing. You guys just take the initiative and do it. But for some reason, that doesn't appeal as much to the younger audience. And I don't think it's because they are innately anti-entrepreneurial, for lack of a better word. I don't know the antonym for the word right now. But I think that's something the education system can do a better job at. It's not, and I don't mean teaching entrepreneurship as a course, because I also will make another video on why I think that's also very stupid. Like, we have people paying 50 grand for a master's in entrepreneurship when that is more than enough seed capital to start most businesses on the planet. My point here is that we need to push and embrace entrepreneurial self-starter initiative culture more with young people to show them that it is not only one attractive or it is a beneficial attribute to have as a person, but two, it's also an available option for them in terms of what they want to do in the future. So those are two key themes that I've noticed at a high level within education, AI, and entrepreneurship. Let me know what you'd want me to cover next, and stay tuned.